Okay. So, what's going on around here? Now that we have these pleasant sounds coming from the background, and you're feeling calm and collected, the people of the Vale. Good morning. I hope everybody is doing well today. Good morning. It's just the sound of the toilet flushing. Hold on. We got professional videos around here. As the stench of the morning's first shit, the thick aroma of earthiness fills the room. And a light green soap is used to wash the hands. And a window to aerate. Good morning, 13 people. We have 13 people, Fred. Did you hear?
Why, yes, Wilma. I'm quite aware of the 13 people that have shown up this morning on the channel.
I'm so glad that they know that Fred is here with us. But they don't think us ladies are here by ourselves, alone.
I'm here. My name's Ted. I'm Fred's brother. And there's plenty of us men, folks around this place. So just hold your britches while we have a conversation.
Forgiveness.
We're gonna let the normal lady talk. Cause she thinks she knows what she's talking about, and it just seems so appropriate.
Whatever. Okay, so, basically, I was watching The Crappy Childhood Fairy, and if you have had a high ACE score childhood, I do recommend Crappy Childhood Fairy. Absolutely. You are going to find yourself feeling like you don't know which way to take the name. Was she your childhood fairy that was supposed to protect you from harm, and she did a crappy job, and she's giving an explanation now? Or is she the fairy that came along to tell you that perhaps she also had one, and la la? So you look at it. I love the name, but she's like, basically, forgiveness is a neurochemical cocktail. If you have enough of certain neurochemicals running in the old system, in the co-regulatory system, just fire in a certain way, you're gonna not even feel the need to forgive anyone. You're gonna be like, forgiveness? What the fuck's that? Right? No, dog, don't hurt the little catling. No. Oh, cat dog. I have a new dog in the house, and I've had a cat that I've had for a long time. And when the dog is part Akita, and when she investigates the cat, I sing her a song. I might let you guys look. Here's the dog. Ignore the laundry basket. I'm in the middle of cleaning the yard. Here's the cat. One fine day with a wolf fur, a baby was born and it caused a little stir. No green-eyed buzzard, no three-eyed frog, just a feed-eyed and lean-eyed little cat dog. Cat dog. Cat dog. The lowly world of the little cat dog. Cat dog. Cat dog. Alone in the world, the little cat dog. That's how I talk the dog into dealing with it. Out on the road or back in the town, all the kind of creatures trying to put cat dog down. Gotta try to pull through it, gotta try to get along. Gotta try to work together, gotta sing this song. Cat dog, cat dog. Alone in the world, a little cat dog. Alright. You notice there is a lead here because just in case. Alright. As the cat lounges. You're not supposed to see any of me. We're not into that right now. Right there. I'm awake with my Frankenstein bangs. Take a look. This is the clown baby. Oh no. Frog, Mr. P9, K9, little cat dog, cat dog, cat dog. Okay, so Crappy Childhood Fairy will tell you that it's a neurochemical mix. And when you have the right mix, that little mixture comes from feeling like you've got your shit together and you're getting stuff done and you're accomplishing something. You got this sense of like, I don't know, it's kind of like a sense of when you're accessing that internal locus of control and your anterior cingulate cortex is firing. It's a primary part of your brain responsible for a feeling of well-being. And she's like, when you have that mixture, and you have that feeling is there, that is forgiveness. Because when you have it, you're like, what? You wronged me. When? Ever? What? I'm just doing my thing. But when that's happening, it's not that it was wrong. But that's not it. Because we go back to the Gabor mate. It's not that you're saying it wasn't wrong, so that I take that back, I cancel it. It's not that you're going to say like it wasn't wrong. It's going to be like you're kicking the ass of the person. So like it would be like this. Say like Mike Tyson got in a fight with Joe Blow. Okay? Mike Tyson had been beat up his whole life in these other boxing matches. But he went and he trained privately in a cave somewhere, and he came back and he was like, I don't care, Rocky came back at 55, I'm coming back at 60, and I'm gonna, I may have got beat up, I may have gotten put in jail, something may have happened, I may have slunk off to this cave like Batman, but I'm coming back out at the age of 60, and I'm gonna fight Joe Blow. If he was laid in the hospital bed saying, Joe Blow never beat me up, let's just pretend Joe Blow beat him up between 50 and 60, and it really did happen. And he was laid in the hospital, never having fought back, and he's saying like, Joe Blow and I are on good terms, la la. He's probably not going to live long, according to Gabor Mate and the other bugs. But if he goes and he trains in the cave, and he comes back, and he fights Joe Blow, or he dies trying, and then he wins. Let's say he wins to some level. He's beat Joe Blow to the point where he feels like he at least got his title back. Something's going on there. Okay, now forgiveness is a moot point because he's in a state of victory. And then victory state precludes the state of needing to forgive. Why would he need to forgive Joe Blow? He beat him up. You see? So like if you're forgiving the person having not beat them up, you probably aren't going to live long according to science. I'm just trying to give you a little science here. That's the only thing I'm trying to do. If you don't like it, go look up the research and go talk to the fictitious Mike Tyson, who's in a cave studying to fight Joe Blow right now. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to go talk to him. You're not allowed to. He's in a sequestered environment in my imagination station. maybe. So you go mind your own business. So the point here is that back on the road or out on the town, all the kind of creatures trying to put the cat dog down. Gotta try to pull together, gotta try to get along, gotta try to get together, gotta sing this song. Cat dog, alone in the world, the little cat dog. So the chemical hormones that you have when you're like beating that enemy up, that's the one that's the signature that will keep you alive. That's supposed forgiveness. It's not forgiveness. It's you're beating the guy up. And so, like, if you're getting a goal, so the crappy childhood fairy is like, you have to get some kind of goals that you feel like you're knocking something out, like to some extent. And if you don't feel like that, trying to forgive is trying to get the neurochemical cocktail of a winning fighter while you're like, you never even went to go train in the cave yet. And she said, you may get bursts of feelings of forgiveness before you hit the victory jackpot, but they are just bursts, and they just come out of nowhere, and you can't maintain them. They're just little bursts. Those aren't meant to make you give up and lie in bed necessarily and say, oh, I forgive them all. No, you ain't no friend. Get your butt into a cave and fight. My grandma and your grandma, like the one name. Well, I'm a resentment, I don't care. That's what I said. Talking about hey now, like the one name. Oh, Giacomo, son, I'm on it. So, then I picture a house on fire. Well, the house on fire is going to invent a new kind of napalm. Oh, then once I'm immune to it, I'm going to retroactively time travel and put it on you. Oh. Anyways, people. It's very exciting. Very exciting. So she was like, if you get this little burst, it doesn't mean like, blah blah. And I was like, okay. It's a neurochemical cocktail that comes from winning. When you're winning, that's the chemical cocktail. And what they're trying to do is like, so everybody's familiar with the family part system, right? Okay. Internal family part system. It turns out if you have any degree of bleeding heart, even a little tiny bit, like 80% of the population, according to numerous studies, demonstrate that they have a certain amount of like pro-ethical, pro-social, cookies and kumbaya, and they love it. And I'm referencing Karen Wynn, the baby study, the Yale baby study. You could go watch the 60-minute special, Babies Born Bad, Do Babies Unlock the Secrets of Morality, if you'd like to watch a little cute video on it. You can see the babies demonstrate how they shun and how they choose their little social doe partners and whatever else they're doing. And foursquare dancing and whatnot in their imagination stations with their eyeballs. At 3 to 6 months old, sans abuse, 20% of children prefer what we would consider a non-ethical or non-pro-social behavior from the word go. I call them the herding dogs. So if you look at society from the perspective of the Yale baby study and Andrew Bustamante, CIA book author, who both he and his wife wrote a book together, where they discussed the first thing the CIA taught them in CIA school is that 1 out of 5 people is inherently not pro-social the way other people are. In fact, it echoes the exact results of the Yale baby study. so precisely that you have to think that the CIA has allowed these to be open disclosures just so the public understands that the Pareto factor is not just an economic principle, but in science and in biology, it's known that Pareto principle operates in lions, it operates in dogs, basically all communal species on Earth, particularly communal species gather along like ridge plate zones and stuff like that. And in those areas, what you get is an 80% producer and a 20%, they call them scroungers, but they're kind of like usurpers or rounder uppers. Or you could think like 80% does the, like, so 80% sheep, 20% shepherd and shepherding dogs. So a shepherding dog, if you ran into a shepherd, if you're a sheep and you're in a flock, you know, unless it's the day that the shepherd picked you out to go to the slaughter, those dogs aren't going to hurt you. They're going to keep you safe from the local wolves and all that other stuff, right? But if you got out and you found a dog that was not, or if that dog was not bound by the shepherd and was not bound by the hierarchy and the code and his image within and his place within that code, then if you ran into that dog alone and he wasn't held in place by that, you wouldn't want to know what that dog would do to you, right? Because he might eat you on his own. The only reason why the dog isn't attacking you, why the dog is like protecting you as a sheep, because the dog is in a pack with other dogs and it's working under the shepherd, and it's going to get, when the sheep gets slaughtered, it gets a cut and it gets fed every day from the sheep of the flock, and it can trust that its meat comes from that flock, and it can trust the system that it operates in, that it will get a fair cut as it operates in that factor, right? So then the shepherding dog is safe for the sheep in the extent, unless it is the day that the sheep was called to go to slaughter by the shepherd, and then bam, right? Then those dogs that protected you from other dogs are going to watch you walk off with the shepherd, and they are not going to lift a paw to help you. All right? That is all of nature. They found it in lions. They put little collars on lions and tracked the motions of lions. And they found that 80% of lions gather up the prey, do the hardcore hunting and everything else. 20% of lions are doing the same thing. They're shepherding and taking choice cuts of meat, directing behaviors, sitting back, the whole 9 yards. They're usurping it up. Not all lions are in the 20% of lions. Did you know that? Even in lions. Even in lions. It's an intraspecies evolutionary construct in the survival of the fittest, is what some might say. My dog has some eye boogers I gotta clean up. Hold on. All right. So here's the next thing. It turns out that if you're in the producer category, you're essentially pro-social, which is 80% of communal species. Here's the good news if you're in the pro-social category. If you like cookies, crackers, and kumbaya with a friend, have I got the good news for you. 80% of people love it. 80% of babies in the Yale baby study were like, cookies and kumbaya around the campfire. Woohoo! And according to the CIA book author, they're like that essentially their whole life, even though they can get influenced if their focus can get pulled in a moment with an authority figure. Woohoo! And so a little in-group preference and an authority figure might throw them offline, but they'll go back to pro-social preference as soon as it's out of the way. They revert to it over and over again. They can't be relied on to stay evil for any reason. It's the truth. They might do temporary evil stuff, but they even the Benoni, so to speak, they will always tip back, according to all the studies, even as infants. They'll get pulled away by an in-group preference for a little while. You know, the bad guy offers a good round of kumbaya and a cookie, and they're like, all right, come on, let's sing together. We love a cookie and a kumbaya. If you give a mouse a pancake, he's gonna ask for another one, and then he's gonna ask for disco music, and the next it's gonna be Crazyland and woo. And so, like, of course they're gonna go along with you when you're offering cookies and kumbaya. But the minute the cookies and kumbaya and the bad is over, and you're all about bad feelings, and you're trying to be a bad guy and keep them on your team, they're gonna just revert right back to the good guys. You're never gonna keep them around. You already know it. That's why you treat them like sheep. Keep them rounded up, right? Because they're essentially good people. 80% of people are essentially good people. Whether you're black, white, Mexican, Japanese, it doesn't matter. I watched a 80% are good people. It doesn't matter. However, just keep in mind that they can be led astray, but they'll come back to it. They'll come back around. They'll never really stick with the bad guys. They could be there for a minute, but they won't really stick around for it, you know. So where were we going with this? Oh my god, she's looking really cute. You're gonna be like, why is she on this lead? Only because she tries to run. She's still kind of new. The way she's looking right now. What is this? This looks like a now, and then the frog legs. All right. So anyways, so if 80% of people are essentially pro-social, the posited argument is that 80% of people have what's called an internal family part system to some extent. They have a system on the inside where they have different faces, different panae, different parts of themselves that to various degrees have to commute. They're on a spectrum of to what degree this appears exaggerated on the surface, perhaps some might argue, but 80% of people have an internal family part system. Okay. This is the only talk therapy that has empirical basis for actually affecting outcomes. So actually, right now, at this point, there's some study like that. Go look it up on the internal family part system. I'm not talking about CBT. I'm not comparing to EMDR. I'm talking about a certain type of psychotherapy that it's like the only one that works. It is the internal family part system where people have to learn to talk, have their parts start talking to each other. So if 80% of people have an internal family part system to some extent. The reason why is you have to be intrinsically traumatized by the system to fracture into a lot of different, like, I feel like you'd have different faces no matter what, but they would learn how to, like, okay, according to the books, all babies are born essentially in their right hemisphere. They operate and think out of the right hemisphere. And what that means is that the right hemisphere is very collective. And that's why your vision is like 12 inches or whatever, so that only people who can get within a 12-inch perimeter of your face are considered to be yourself. Because as a baby, you're using your right hemisphere so strongly that everybody you see is you. So your mom is you, and you're you. And your dad is you and you're you. So both your mom and your dad and your siblings, if they get in that 12-inch space, and yourself are all you. But particularly you and your primary caregivers, right? So you can't tell the difference between the collective family that you entered and the baby in it. You can't tell that you're the baby in the story, okay? So when a baby's first born into a family system, They see the entire family system objectively initially. Through their right hemisphere, they see this whole family as them. Then the way that the mom treats the baby, the dad treats the baby, the kids treat the baby is the way the baby treats the baby, right? The authority figure treats the baby is the way the baby gets treated. The brain codes it like this baby gets treated this way. Now, if you're born as a herding animal, right? If you're born as the 20%, that means that they found that the 20% of babies that prefer bullying conduct in this study, that 95% of those babies, okay, so 19% of the babies in the overall study, preferred only for non-bullies to get bullied. They did not like a bully to get bullied. No bullies get bullied. Only non-bullies get bullied. So there's massive in-group preference without anybody like really announcing they can recognize bullying behavior and they're like, no, we are on the team of the bullies. So say that means if a baby at 3 months old is born into a household with a parent that's, say that either the mom or the dad is the bully of the household and other people are getting sort of abused by them, the child who's born on the bully team immediately recognizes the bully parent and says, we're on the same team. And the parent sees the child and goes, okay. Now, this is where golden child syndrome comes. They also go, okay, you're born on the same team, so, like, I've got to train you to be on the same team. Like the reindeer in, like, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the claymation one. You know how, like, the coaches are kind of, like, hardcore? Right? That's like a narcissistic parent working with the narcissistic children. They're like, okay, you're the reindeer. They're not like, you notice they're how they just watch how they work with them. You'll see what I'm talking about. And then so like they even have a special movie on narcissists called Reindeer. Reindeer is a code word for narcissist, and Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, is a code word for the Messiah because he's got the red nose, right? Because he's a narcissist like all the other narcissists, but he's got the red nose. He's got this weird, quirky vulnerability that makes him like the other narcissists are like, can't you? If you could just cover this up, then we'll just pretend like it's not there, and we have no problem interacting with you. But you have to just cover the fucking nose up, and everybody's fine. We could give a fuck less if you're lying about it. Just put makeup on that nose. And it's true. As soon as Rudolph covered up his nose, every reindeer treated him exactly the same as all the other reindeer. He had a best buddy. He had a girlfriend like all the other reindeer. Coach liked him. Everything was going. His dad was also a narcissistic reindeer. His dad was very pleased with him. His mom was pleased with him. Everybody was pleased with him. And when he covered his nose with makeup. And the next thing you know, the makeup fell off. And the reindeer were like, holy fuck, dude. Why don't you just put the makeup back on? Why don't you just make up a lie and say something like, I thought I'd scare you with a fake bright nose today and run off and go put the makeup back on and come back. Just act like it was an accident. But no, you got to stand there and be all proud of your red nose, and now you've forced us to drive you off into the wilderness, Rudolph. Until Santa / Elijah. Kids leaving cookies out at night, go figure it out. Dark side is Krampus. Santa and Krampus, same person. Think about that one. Then, does Krampus be killing children? But you got Elijah and Elijah, right? Elijah and Elisha gets a double portion of Elijah's spirit, and then immediately he turns and he instructs some bears to go slaughter some children. That's the Krampus move if I've ever heard one. A little Krampus and Santa Claus hanging out together, a little Elijah and Elijah. Now, some people will say that these Krampus and Santa figures came perhaps even before Christianity, and that the Christians co-opted the Krampus and the Santa. some people say that about Moses too, because the Jews say that the Israelites didn't get to Egypt until like 1500 BC, and Moses wasn't born till like around 1300 BC, except for the name Moses was super famous already by 1500 BC and was being used commonly as a name for political uprisers and used on pharaohs and stuff by 1800 BC. And in 2600 BC, the name was already in common usage as just a common term for a boy or a child. So when the Israelites went to Egypt, Moses was already a famous figure. They commandeered the figure, renamed their guy Moses, took over the thing. So is the if you go by their timeline. So commandeered, it's very Sun Tzu art of war. You commandeer something, and so if you think it works, so like. Where are we going with this? Sun Tzu art of war. Moses, forgiveness, Pareto. Oh, hold on, it'll come back. Reindeer, Rudolph. Okay, this other thing. The parent, the golden child, the scapegoat, Okay. So the parent then picks if there's nobody gets traumatized unless a narcissist is left in charge, right? Everybody with this like internal family part system, they probably have some amount of internal family parts no matter what, but it's fractured by the trauma of the narcissist is what they say. Because all babies are essentially born with like multiple personality syndrome. And it's not exactly that, but close enough to just give you a shortcut understanding. And as their brain develops, they grow out of the multiple personalities. Because if you're not super traumatized, your brain will develop the structures so that those different personas communicate seamlessly, and it looks like you're just one person. But if you're traumatized in that, then you'll have like a fractured or a stained glass type expression of your personas because of this. Now, that's because the brain has to make back channels to communicate between the right and left hemisphere, because it has to work around previous brain structures it would have used to create that seamless communication because of modern society, living in a city, having a, say, like narcissist left in charge. So then if you're the narcissist kid in the narcissist family, a narcissist parent's going to be like, okay, I see, okay, golden child, we're going to you're going to get good treatment, but in so much as you act within the framework. Now if they run into a kid who's like vulnerable and hyper ethical and can't be bribed with cookies to forget that the family's bad here and there, think about it. When like say like you have a naturally bad family, there's a certain amount of family members that can be bribed to show up for family gatherings and stuff just because they like the family, the togetherness, and the food. You know, they're just but there's certain people who like they can't forget how bad the bad people are even when they're having the togetherness and the family and the food. And these people see something as wrong, feel that there's something really wrong with the system, and so those ones get pinpointed as like the depositories for the shame of the family, and therefore they are the scapegoat. And every family usually has at least one or several, right? So there's your depository for the family shame. Anybody having a bad feeling today? You don't need a bad feeling. Dump it on so-so. And then go ahead and feel better. Give them an insult or a slap. Don't do it in public. Do it psychically where no one can see you. Do the old psychic gang stalking where no one can tell what you're doing, but they can sure feel it. And then, like... and then so while all the other kids are like going to school, like the 80% kids are going to the elementary schools during the day, special kids have gotten a notification for Hogwarts. And we wonder, like, how do all the narcissists, like 3 to 6 months old, their whole life, they operate according to this profound playbook? And it looks like they can tell immediately who's who, this cognitive empathy, and they can tell who's been damaged by who and where the person left off and what openings are there and this, that, the other. And man, where'd they go? Well, they got a secret invitation to Hogwarts School of Wizardry. And like basically like while you were at school learning all the obvious lessons, they were learning the double speak of the teacher, which was that obviously none of this is true. All of the things these other people are being taught is a trick. None of it applies to you. We subconsciously are on this other level learning something completely different from the school experience. We're learning how to hide what we really are and how to blend in, and it's obvious the teacher knows a lot of them. And the ones that don't, like, we kind of like police them ourselves. And like, right? Come on now. So, that's why when Snape found out that Dumbledore was going to have Harry Potter sent like a lamb to the slaughter from the get-go, Snape threw a fit. Well, think of it this way. Snape is like one of those coaches for the reindeer. And Harry Potter is one of the reindeer. And he may have a red nose. But Snape was like, you can't go treat him like, you know, like... How do you think the reindeer get up in the sky? How do you think they get so lofty that they fly above people's heads and land on your roof? It's arrogance. How do they get so arrogant? They offload their shit to the family scapegoat. They get high, a few dopamine kicks off of a few insults they landed to the public, especially the more covert. People didn't even notice they were insulted. They get take a little energy here, take a little energy there, and then they're floating, man. They're up there in the sky. That's why narcissists are the reindeers, the flying reindeers, because like they could fly, right? They're getting high off of insulting other people. They get a dopamine kick, a preferential dopamine kick when they hurt your feelings, when they dupe you, when they get one over on you, when they round you up like the ships you are. As long as they don't go picking sheep off themselves and they stay within the system, they're fine. Then we wonder why they make such a big deal out of people like Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy and like the Night Stalker, and they put them on stages and they're like, these are super bad people, and they interview ladies with buns and curly hair who say like, these men are the worst travesties of mankind, this monster. And then you're like, but you're president. There's a lady, Catherine O'Brien, who gives interviews who says that your United States president did things worse to her than what those people did to their victims all the time. And they're like, doesn't matter. Why are they really in trouble? They're not in trouble for being reindeer. They're in trouble for being rogue reindeer. They're in trouble for being reindeer that didn't come to Santa Claus's village and work at the fucking North Pole. And they were like, Hermie doesn't like to make toys, but in a reindeer way. And they went off and they did their own reindeer shit on their own. And so a public spectacle had to be made of them by the other reindeer. You want me to explain? What do you think happened to Diddy and Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell? Do you think if Ghislaine Maxwell, Diddy, and Epstein, do you think, and Cosby, do you think they really committed worse crimes than the guys that are around them? Or do you think that all the people that they work with commit equal levels of crime and have equal levels of dirt on each other, and that's how they all keep each other in check, and that somehow these reindeer went rogue and tried to do a business deal or made a little shady friendship or did something that questioned their loyalty to Santa Claus, and therefore a public spectacle was made of these specific reindeer, and it's not because they did something worse. Boy, this lady really knows what she's talking about, man. Yeah, man, that's freedom rock, man. Turn it up. Where's the bandana for the forehead? Lord, I was born a rambling man, trying to make a living and doing the best I can. When it's time for leaving, I hope you'll understand that I was born, and with other great hits like Papa was a rolling stone. Wait, no, that's not in the list. You're on the wrong one. No, that's the Motown list, man. That's a whole different playlist. What's the other one they had on the Freedom Rock commercial? Summer breeze makes me feel fine. Going through the jasmine in my mind. Do 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 do. Did it work? Are they in a deep spell? We were doing this broadcast to see if we could bring them under deep hypnosis. Baby, using our karaoke methods. Baby, please don't go. Ooh, no. I just want you to stay. Ooh, no. Baby, please don't go. Look at all of you beautiful people out here today. Oh, there's 2 people watching live right now. They're looking at each other like, what? Yes, you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. Baby, please don't go. Ooh, no. I just want you to stay. We gotta give them our morning impressions of our favorite songs, because that's really why we came here. First, we would start with the movie. This is Jim Morrison. The movie will begin in 5 moments. Wait, you gotta do it in the cup. It sounds way better in the coffee cup. The movie will begin in 5 moments. The mindless voice announced. All those unseated will await the next show. They filed slowly, languidly into the hall. The auditorium was both vast and silent. As they seated and were darkened, the voice continued. Program for this evening is not new. You've seen this entertainment both through and through. You've seen your birth, your life, your death. You might recall all of the rest. And now they're going to ask you one question. Was it enough to base a movie on? Well, we were thinking we could work with either Seagal or Spielberg. Do you want someone else involved if it all of you? That's looking for a marketing movement. Was there something catchy? Did you have a pair of striped long pants on that we can make a new fashion icon out of? Could we perhaps use you for a patriotic war slogan? I'm sorry, you raising your hand in the back. We don't allow questions. No, you're not allowed to talk. Put your hand back down. This auditorium is vast and silent. Why persistest thou? Now they have like 3 or 4 of them. Do we need to remove their hands? Should we just give them a sharp electrical shock? Get the cattle prods out. Prod the ones with their hands up. Beep, beep, bzz, bzz, Take them down to the dungeons. We need to make a public spectacle of them. The next arenas will dress them in some skins and send them out there in front of with the beasts. How dare you think you have? Of course, this is for movies. What are you thinking about? Did you have a song? What's happening? I can see things. Like a purple chair. Oh wait, look at yonder. Oh, the brindling of a foot leadeth to a dog of some brindling, the small clown baby, discarded as it were, left in the dirt, dismissed. There's the clown baby. You don't make fun of dogs around here. Oh, you found your bone. Okay. Oh, boy. I wasn't making fun of you. We were talking about the clown baby. The clown baby. Oh, wait. There's more music. I just feel like... Wow, look at how close up that is. What are you looking at? This is bizarre. What are you seeing? Oh my gosh. This is a strange landscape of alien design. Perhaps we've landed on a strange planet. The crystalline surface of the planet appears to have shifting colors and shadows of some sort. Perhaps it's a plasma. Look, isn't it odd that that shape looks strangely like a heart? I'm sure it's nothing upon the rock. Surely, the likeness to a fish here is nothing but a coincidence. This is a strange and alien land. It almost looks as if we're underwater. I see something stirreth. Something stirreth from the right. The small creatures move. I just can't do it anymore. We're done there with that little joke. Okay. If you didn't already know, this is cat food. That is spilled on the grass. This mysterious, menacing item is Lipodipe that somehow flew. It got caught in the corner of my yard. Neek. So anyways, we don't think well around here of knights who say neek to young and vulnerable women. My dog, oh, she's so cute. She's watching my dog. If I can get her to do it again, I'll show you. Or if she does it again, I'll show you. She's watching this ant. There's an ant right here. Where's it at? See that ant right there? A minute ago, she was watching this ant with like an accusatory look. Like directly what? Now she's acting like she doesn't know what I'm talking about. But she was watching it do its thing, and she was looking at it like it was. She was like it was up to no good. Like the other ants are wandering around, but that particular ant had something going on that she wasn't too sure about for a minute there. This is a hilarious dog. because she cracks me up. Like, she'll ignore the majority of bugs, but every once in a while there's a bug and she'll act like this one and maybe she's right. She'll act like this one's got like maybe a little attitude or something's going on there that requires a little extra observation. So a little policing perhaps. I don't know for sure. No, I'm gonna love this super long list. Anyways, where were we at here? Oh, the song. I was about to hang up on this whole call, but then I was like, they need to watch an ant in the grass while we sing songs. Are you ready? It's not real grass, of course. But that's right. Look at this guy. Aww. If I was to kill you on live camera, would these people scream out and would they say, "Don't do it. Don't touch that ant"? If there was to be a sudden threat to this, how many of you would say, "Stop, don't hurt him"? This is like a Stanley Milgram experiment. What if? What if? He knoweth not that his life hangeth in the balance. Perhaps I will pet him lightly. Not making fun. Look at your butt, is cute. A little light pet. No harm. Petting. No, we're not making fun. Pet. I'm trying to pet. Oh, see, it wasn't that bad. Oh, look at you. And you're carrying... Oh. Some of the viewers are so scared they left because they weren't sure what it was really going to happen. Oh, sorry about that. Look, your friend has shown up. It's your friend. If you want to get ants upset, they will help each other with the same item. But if you pick an ant up and you drop it on its friend, they don't die or anything, but they'll both look super startled. What's going on here? Anyways, either you're closing your eyes to a situation you do not wish to acknowledge, or you're just not aware of the caliber of disaster. I don't even feel like doing it. The ant is too cute. Alright, that's it.